Welcome to episode 46 of Oscar Sunday. I'm Austin Johnson.
I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
And the 93rd Academy Awards are just 1 week away, my friend. Crazy stuff. It is been a fun ride, watching all these movies through streaming services and going to the theater and whatnot. Just kind of like just a mix of all this stuff. And you and I are pretty excited, I'd say.
Hell yeah. I mean, this is our first, award season with this podcast. So this is kind of our bread and butter. This is exciting.
Yeah, I didn't think I could ever be this excited for the Oscars, honestly. But yes, doing this show and kind of going through the history of it, finding the holes in it and finding kind of the gems in it, has given me this whole, new, not respect for it, but just kind of this rejuvenation to learn more about all these random movies that have been nominated. And, today we're going to talk about The Incredibles from 2004, which was nominated for 4 Oscars at the 77th Academy Awards and won 2. So we're going to have some fun with that one. We'll give awards out to it. But I want to start by talking about the ceremony next week, the 93rd Academy Awards. And we kind of did a best picture, a little bit of talk on those movies. We talked about the best director race, but today it's just a week away. I want to get some just general thoughts. For instance, these actor categories, I feel are pretty much all up in the air, which never happens.
Yeah.
It's so rare for all 4 categories to kind of be a race. You know what I mean?
It's exciting. I love not having a sure thing. We never get a sure thing. I mean, we never don't get a sure thing with the acting ones. And this time, because the Globes were so all over the place, we really don't have. I mean, there's a couple possible front runners, but it could be a complete, coin flip here. I'm excited. I love this. I love, usually, we bet around the Oscars. We place, we do a ballot, and it really could be anybody's game here. It's awesome.
Yeah, extremely exciting. I do. Let's just go through all 4 and say who you're pulling for. Best actor, it's got to be Chadwick Boseman. I want this guy to get the win.
I'd say that he's probably the front runner for best actor. He took home the Globe. He deserves it for sure. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think Anthony Hopkins might snake this one.
Yeah, he just got the BAFTA. Yeah.
I think he might take home his second statue for The Father, and it would be well-deserved as well. All 5 of these performances were fantastic. So really it's up in the air. I'd be happy with any of these guys taking home a statue.
Yeah, me too. I just definitely, if I have one guy, I think everybody's in the same boat. It'd be cool if Chadwick got the Oscar. Best actress, I got to be honest. I want Franny McDormand to get that 3rd.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that you would think that you're definitely pulling for her to enter kind of the like VIP room in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
I know it's a long shot and it's probably not going to happen, but I really do want Carey Mulligan to win this.
Oh yeah, no, I think it could definitely happen. I think this one is the most up in the air. Kind of like each of these women have won something,
yeah,
but not one of them has won everything. Sort of thing through the award season. So super curious about that one. Yeah, I think Frances, like you said, entering kind of a like holy tier, of 3 wins, it would be really special to witness. And it's not a performance that isn't deserving. You know what I mean? It's a very good movie, very solid performance, and she's just incredible. But all 5 of them are great. So I'm really okay with same as the actor. You know, both lead categories. I'm kind of okay with wherever it goes.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Andrew Day took home the Globe, and
Mm-hmm.
if she takes home the Oscar, I think it'd be well deserved. Her performance as Billie Holiday was fantastic, and yeah, all five of these women were fantastic. So that's what I love about this show. There's no weak link this time. Like usually, there's a weak link. There's not one like this. There's no Crash.
That's a good one. There's certainly not one of those. The supporting categories. I look at the men here, and first name that jumps out is Daniel Kaluuya, right? And you think like, oh, what's going on with him and Lakeith both being in the supporting category? But I really would be cool with either of them winning. Kaluuya or Stanfield. They're both pretty awesome, and that movie has a incredible pace to it, and just some shit that a lot of people just needed to learn. And it's always good when that happens in a movie, and those two guys are at the forefront of that.
They are. I'm surprised one of them wasn't up for actor.
Yeah, exactly. Stupid.
Yeah, but I think if there is going to be a sure thing, I think it's this one. I think Kaluuya has this in the bag. I mean, he's been the favorite, and he deserves it. Holy hell, was that a incredible, transformative performance? And yeah, I can't wait to see him win gold. And again, 5 great performances, so whatever.
Yeah. I like this category. I'll say so. The Sacha Baron Cohen performance has not aged too well just because of that accent, man. In 1965, there's just a few times where it gets a little out of hand. Him and Eddie Redmayne both it gets a little out of hand.
I'll give you that.
Frank Langella. Sorry, it to me is the winner of that movie and should have been the one that's up if anybody's going to be up in that movie.
Him or Rylance, I think.
Yeah, Mark Rylance was. Mm-hmm, that's a good call.
But we'll see. I mean, I did enjoy the performance. It does slip a couple times. The accents are a little. I get that, but I don't know, I'd like to watch that again before the show just to kind of refresh. Because when I watched, I saw that months ago.
Yeah.
Anything else had come out, and I was like, "This is the movie." Now I'm not sure that's the movie.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not my favorite as time has gone on of the group. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But there's some strong movies, So I think, like you said, Rylance or Frank Langella were both stronger in my opinion overall in that movie. How about supporting actress? Who are you pulling for there?
Everyone hated this movie. I don't give a fuck. I thought this was a brilliant movie. I thought it was a brilliant performance. I want Glenn Close to take home a statue for this. Finally. I think this is her 9th nomination. It's like, I want her to go home with a statue, and she would deserve it for Hillbilly Elegy. It was, I like that movie a lot. I'm the only one who liked that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, no, I haven't seen it, but I haven't met really anyone aside from you.
I don't care. I like what I like, and I thought she was great, and I think it's hilarious that she's also up for the Razzie.
Yeah. She has been. She's kind of, her and Peter O'Toole, 8 nominations, no wins. That kind of category. That's where Glenn Close is at, and so, like you said, if this is kind of scary territory, it's time to get her a win. But I just I haven't seen the movie, so I can't quite say. To me, Amanda Seyfried and Mank, just kind of a perfect performance, and fits inside this movie kind of brilliantly. So I see it as kind of a classic supporting actress win, but I don't know. I think this one's kind of wide open.
Yeah, this is I think the most competitive acting category, because all 5 of these are. I don't know how to explain this. Like, you can kind of like certain actors, you can kind of picture them holding an Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
These 5, apart from Olivia Colman because she did win one, I don't see it. So I'm wondering, like, who here is going to take it? I have no clue. Yeah, I think I'm most excited for this one because I would like to see who's going to be the next Best Supporting Actress Oscar winner.
Yeah, it's a fascinating category. We love the supporting categories here on Oscar Sunday. I'll take a quick look at the original screenplay and adapted screenplay. For me, for original, I would love to see Sound of Metal take the dub here. That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
I really like the partnership of Darius Marder and Derek Cianfrance. I think those two guys are just awesome minds in the movie world, and
yeah,
I'd love to see them rewarded here. Yeah,
I think that it's tough to beat Sorkin when it comes to a screenplay. He usually is the front runner for these, but I think Emerald Fennell is going to surprise us. I think Promising Young Woman might take this one.
Could definitely see that for sure. Yeah, I think Promising Woman has kind of this wave that it's still on, and could totally see this being kind of the big win it takes.
Yeah, potentially.
Hell yeah, man. How about adapted? Borat, The Father, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, White Tiger. I haven't seen The White Tiger or The Father, so I can't say a whole lot here.
Yeah. I think Nomadland's a strong film. I don't think story is its strong suit. I don't see this taking a screenplay win. I think this is going to go to The Father. Florian Zeller adapted his own play, very character driven and emotional as hell. So I could totally see that taking the win here.
Oh yeah. One Night in Miami, Kemp Powers, the man, also helped out on Soul. I really wish Regina King would have got a directing nomination. That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because that's like my favorite part of that movie. I think she handled the actor so goddamn well. And that's kind of what I still take away from that film. Best animated. I think it's obvious that Soul is going to win, but I know you're big on Onward.
Well, it's cool to see Pixar battling against itself. You don't see that very often. And they're both fantastic movies. I like Onward a little bit more, but Soul is pretty much guaranteed this one.
Yeah, it'd be shocking. I think this is the most obvious one of the entire, like really the entire landscape.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Well, any other categories you want to kind of touch on? I know, I love Another Round. That I think that's going to win Best International Feature Film. I think that one's kind of gained a whole following, and Thomas Vinterberg is a guy that's people are kind of familiar with. I think My Octopus Teacher is definitely going to win Best Documentary. I just there's some things in these categories, these we'll call them the ones that are kind of at the bottom here. They tend to, if one kind of has like a wave in the culture, it just tends to kind of do well at the Oscars. Those are two predictions that I think are kind of in the bag for Best Doc and Best International Feature Film.
Cool. What do you think of cinematography?
Oh man, yeah, I definitely want to talk about that one. I haven't seen News of the World, but for me, what I'm polling for is Eric Messerschmidt. For what it's worth, Mank is obviously quite a spectacle, and for me here in my home, it was kind of treated as an event, and I just immediately looked up. I was like, I wonder who worked with Fincher on this one, who's a cinematographer, and I learned who this man was very quickly, and I would love to see him take the dub here.
I agree with you. I think that he's got a shot, but I think this one right here is a battle between Messerschmidt for Mank and Joshua James Richards for Nomadland. I think
100%.
That's the fight here.
100%. Yeah. Joshua James Richards, it's like, pretty much perfect American, filmmaking, right? Where Chloe Zhao and him are just kind of teasing you with landscapes that are, right here in our backyard, and that's one of the coolest things that you can do, in American storytelling and filmmaking. So I really appreciated the way they kind of captured parts of the country, and that has a lot to do with this guy Josh. Yeah.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I can speak for News of the World. I did see that one, and it is visually stunning. It's a great American Western, but
nice.
Yeah, I think just the worlds that Mank and Nomadland created are unparalleled, and I think one of those is taking this home.
Yeah. Sean Bobbitt, shout out. Judas and the Black Messiah, awesome. Oh man, talk about being excited for Sean and Shaka King. Just really cool stuff in Judas and the Black Messiah.
For sure. And Trial of the Chicago 7. I like that movie a lot. I think that a lot of people had kind of second thoughts about it. I think it had an initial, like, that was amazing reaction. And then the more it went on, people were kind of like, was it amazing? Like, people kind of thought about it a bit more. But I still hold strong with it was amazing. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw a little shout out to Feed and Papa Michael.
Hell yeah. No, I like that. Yeah, I think that one, out of all the Best Picture nominations, has definitely gotten the most kind of heat as time has gone on. I totally agree with that. Whereas other movies have just kind of, either gained more, more praise, more respect, or stayed level. I think Trial has gone backwards because, like you said, it was kind of immediately, oh shit, this is Oscar, fucking Oscar bait type stuff. And it's like, oh no, wait, this is probably going to lose some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. The momentum has slowed, but
exactly.
We'll see how that pans out come the show.
Yeah. Next week, time will tell, my friend. Next week. Yeah, man, I'm wicked excited. I'll try to watch. I still don't know if The Father is out to rent right now, and I might just have to try to go see it in theaters before next week.
Let me check for you. The Father is, of course, now Voodoo picks the time to be all weird.
Well, yeah, fucking Voodoo.
Yeah, I don't think it's. Yeah, I think it's still at the movies. I did see it when we saw in the Earth today, and I remember seeing it on the marquee over there. So it is there.
Yeah, we're recording this on Friday night.
Oh,
April 16th. So yeah, we saw a movie. That was the first time. This is the first time I've been back at the theater in like 14 months.
You can rent it on Prime for $20.
Oh, well,
which is steep.
Yeah. It's more convenient, obviously, to watch it at home, but $20 is not convenient.
It is not. That's fucking robbery.
Highway robbery. Yeah, but I'll do what I can to watch that movie before the show, because then I'll knock out all the Best Picture nominees. Yeah, man, I'm ready. I think we both see Nomadland doing well. I still stand by my Minari prediction for Best Picture, though. And then I am pulling for Thomas Vinterberg to win, but I think Chloe Zhao has got the director in the back.
Yeah, no contest. Chloe Zhao's taking that home. Best Picture. It's not that I want Nomadland to win. I just think it's going to. I think it's the safe bet. Minari definitely has a shot. I think if they really want to impress us, give it to Judas and the Black Messiah. But I don't think that'll happen.
We'll see, man. Yeah, next week.
Next week.
Oh, loads of fun. But today, I wanted to do, kind of change the pace up, with an animated film. We haven't done an animated film since Shrek, and that was a while back now, my friend. And we did Beauty and the Beast as well, and we just felt like doing kind of one of the animated winners that's just fun as hell. And so Incredibles just kind of jumped out, right?
Yeah.
What, of course, we both saw this in theaters. We were 9 years old.
My God.
Thinking about that is real weird, right? How much closer The Incredibles is to 1995 than it is to now. Yeah, 9 years and 17 years. Very bizarre. And this particular Pixar movie has just aged so goddamn well. And it to the point where I'm like, I don't even know what to rate this. This is really, really good. It's not my favorite Pixar, but it's up in that top tier.
It's a special film, I think, because it felt like it wasn't trying to make a kids movie. It's almost like a very serious superhero family drama at times. I mean, this is a dark movie. There's a lot of death, a lot of violence, a lot of betrayal. Like, this is a very harsh film for a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
It's the studio that did Toy Story, so how could it possibly be bad for kids? And as a kid, you're thinking like, oh, Mr. Incredible can throw stuff real far, and he's really funny, and he crushes a car. It's funny. As a grown up, you're like, holy shit, does he hate his job? And now you're just like, you sympathize with him. Like, I've worked in an office and hated myself. I get it. I had super strength. I'd chuck my boss through 5, walls. Like, you just relate to this whole situation of like, I know I'm better than this. Why am I doing this to myself? It ages with you. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, and that you can say that over and over about Pixar.
Yeah. Yeah. The films are timeless.
Indeed. And, we have obviously I've given our age away plenty of times, but we were born when Toy Story came out, right?
Yeah.
So when you say that they age with you, it's true. When Toy Story 3 comes out, we're 15 and have become totally attached to this, this trilogy. It's like, what? How is this animated, kind of, well, this company, this production company, Pixar, that's just monstrous in our pop culture. But it's, I kind of see it as the MCU. It's like, but it's mostly good. So I have no problem just going back over and over every year, giving them my time, giving them my money. Cause it's like, well, this shit is pretty fucking entertaining every time, and you kind of get that. And The Incredibles, it comes, Toy Story, Bugs Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, and then this is like super early in the game, but yet they've already mastered it,
Yeah.
And it's just really incredible to kind of, first off, witness as a kid. You're just, holy shit, you have this awesome stuff to watch. But now, as an adult, having on Disney Plus just right here in my home, like, it's kind of crazy and kind of amazing to kind of research that stuff, and look back at the history of how Pixar has dominated and just been on top of itself kind of the whole time.
Well, I've always seen Pixar as kind of the last little imagination that Disney has left.
Yeah.
That's where all the creativity is coming from now. Like, just this, last year, Onward and Soul, 2 of their best films, hit you right in the heart again. I mean, they have, there's a couple missteps with the Cars sequels and The Good Dinosaur, and nobody's perfect. We all have our Iron Man 3s. But for the most part, the batting average is insane. And I still love Toy Story. I watch it all the time. It's still one of my favorite movies. On tape when I was a kid, I had the first 2 Toy Stories and A Bug's Life. Like, those were my, on VHS. They've been in my life forever. And Pixar is crucial to my development as a film fan and just as a well-rounded human being.
Yeah. There's one thing that has kind of stayed with me when we did the Beauty and the Beast episode. We kind of went down the whole Disney Renaissance era.
Yeah.
in the starting with 89 Little Mermaid and going through the 90s. And you when you talked about The Lion King, you talked about how this movie was when you first were kind of confronted with the idea of death.
Yes.
Think about what Pixar introduced us to these movies, and just kind of when Incredibles you watch now, it's kind of for an adult. They're totally training you to kind of catch certain things, and be of a certain mind when you're watching a movie. These Pixar movies don't allow you, they're not holding your hand,
Oh no.
Like in Finding Nemo, you have, just a frightening opening, brutally scary. Yet at age 8, I was obsessed with this movie, obsessed with the story of a father trying to find his son. And they do that over and over. And The Incredibles, and Ratatouille has pretty big stuff going on, pretty big picture ideas, and Up and Wall-E. Jesus Christ, these movies don't let up at all. And you have to kind of give them credit for our mindset when we're watching things. Because when you get attached to something like that at a young age, now you're trained to watch things that way. And when Pixar is throwing little jokes at you left and right, little Easter eggs, you're kind of trained to like always be paying attention. I fucking appreciate that,
Yeah.
The little things in Pixar in these movies like really matter. They really pay attention to every little detail. And that's now as an adult how I watch every movie. I kind of have to give them credit for they just stacked all of these to me as a kid, like classics, know, and I have to give them credit.
Well, and the way they hide life lessons in all of their films, the way they kind of trick kids into thinking about big picture things.
Mm-hmm.
I've always appreciated that about Pixar. Like when I found out, Inside Out is being used like in special needs classes to teach kids how to handle their emotions. Like that is life-changing. I love shit like that. And I can't watch Inside Out anymore. That movie makes me cry.
It is.
It's such a roller coaster.
I think Richard Kind as Bing Bong might, it's kind of like their Walter, like in Big Lebowski. It's like it might be their best character, Pixar. It's it is a devastating character. But with true sacrifice. It's crazy. Yeah. Adult movies don't even do that. They let you off easy. They give you some bullshit. There's like an actual sacrifice in this movie.
Yeah. In grown-up movies, Batman's in Florence and he's fine. In Pixar, like Bing Bong's death, so to speak, is, reminds people that we all have to grow up eventually, that we can't just keep holding on to everything, that we have to let childish things go. It's a natural part of growing up, and facing that with a death like that is devastating to all ages. Like we all have to have that moment of like, I grew up. Like, when did I grow up? One point you're playing with your toys, at one point you're paying your taxes. Like when does you can't pinpoint the transition. You just have to realize like what happened. And Inside Out did that to me, and I'll never forgive that film.
Yeah, it's brutal. I love it. It's like one of my favorite movies of 2015. It's so mind-boggling. And and then if the recent ones, Onward and Soul from this past year, just both kind of like, oh man, just kind of make you buckle. Yes. And I have to give him credit. I really do. And I think The Incredibles is somewhere in that top tier of one of their best overall films, let alone, the little messages and the kind of, fun stuff that's in there. It is just a good film, cool story, awesome voice acting. And yeah, I really grateful for this one. And it makes sense that they made a sequel.
Well, yeah, but like, I think my favorite thing about The Incredibles is that it's also a kick-ass superhero movie. Like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really is exciting. And the whole, like, the villain is one of the most evil people ever created by Pixar. The whole concept of a supervillain who has been building a robot to kill other superheroes, like cannon fodder. Because, I mean, good God, Syndrome is such a fascinating character. And I can't wait to just dig into him.
Yeah, he's incredible. Incredible. Yeah, I love a lot of characters. Every side character is great, you know. And it's a super exciting movie, like Bon Voyage. He's fantastic.
That's great. I love, Edna, the designer, like the whole idea that like every superhero goes to Edna for a costume. She's the best and she knows it. Like, I love that. It's pride, but it's arrogant. It's endearing.
Perfection.
His douchey boss, his tiny little boss, Mr. Huff. Wallace Shawn, I love that even in animated form, he's playing like little mousy characters.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, he was crucial, for me as a kid, because probably my favorite Disney movie is a Goofy movie.
Ah, yeah.
And hey Mazer, what's up, bruh? Robert Zimmerowski. Oh man, yeah, he's super effective, and just so good as Mr. Huff in this movie.
One of my favorite things about this is that it introduces the concept of people actually suing superheroes for saving them when they did not ask for it. Like, that is such a hilarious idea, and they run with it, and it just completely reshapes society because the government's just tired of paying their legal fees.
Of course. God, you gotta love it. Yeah, it gets really wild. It gets sci-fi, it gets super action, superhero. Yeah, it's awesome. Like, I was kind of blown away because it had been a while since I've seen it. I remember watching this over and over and over as a kid, though.
Yeah.
Age 9, 10, 11, just on repeat.
Yeah, me too, man. This was my cousins had one of those, SUVs with the TVs in the back, and this was one of their like 3 movies they would constantly watch. It was like The Incredibles, Ice Age, and I think like Shrek 2. And they would just have it on constant repeat whenever I was in their car. So I saw The Incredibles so many times in my like preteen years. And it's just such a solid movie. You get sucked in. You no matter how like where it is, if you start watching it, you're going to keep watching it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think Mr. Brad Bird, director of Iron Giant, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, Incredibles 2. This guy obviously knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
Yeah, definitely one of the best, right up there with Pete Docter as what Pixar has to offer for writers and directors. I do want to treat this not just as an animated movie. I want to look at these categories at the 77th Academy Awards and see if we think it should have beat some stuff. Is up for 4, 1, 2. We both have our opinions on Shark Tale and Shrek 2, which it beat for animated film. We'll definitely talk about that. But I want to compare it to the live action movies as well, because I think it deserves that.
Absolutely. So, you want to start with sound mixing?
Let's do it.
All right. Best sound mixing. We have The Aviator, The Incredibles, The Polar Express, Spider-Man 2, and the winner, Ray. That's a hell of a bunch.
What a crazy group. Yeah, I believe we've both seen all of these. Yeah.
Yep.
Correct. All right. Awesome. Yeah. Aviator, big time movie at this particular ceremony, had the most nominations. $1 Million Baby goes home with the Best Picture win, but Aviator is remembered, well as far as the Oscars go. Incredibles, of course we love that one. Polar Express, what so cool to see it here.
I think the big question is, and I'm sure we'll elaborate on this later on, but what the hell is Shark Tale doing here when the Polar Express, a vastly superior animated film, is right over here?
Yeah, a movie that's up for sound editing and sound mixing. Yet it's not up for over Shark Tale. Just this excuse.
Say what you want about the weird, like, uncanny valley eyes of the Polar Express, which doesn't really bother me that much. That movie is heartwarming as hell, a beautiful Christmas like spirit film, and I watch it every year with my family, and I love it. Shark Tale I have seen once in the past 20 years.
Yeah, because it sucks. Yeah, I mean, and Spider-Man 2. Hey, Spider-Man 1 and 2 are both so badass. Yes. And I love seeing movies like that here because it means we can potentially do them one day. And that's really exciting to get a live action superhero film through and through.
Spider-Man 2 is the first Oscar Marvel Studios ever won for visual effects. So special place in my heart.
Yeah, man. Hey, you gotta thank Doc Ock for a lot of that, huh?
Alfred Molina, like today, just came out and said that his Doc Ock he's playing in Spider-Man No Way Home is Sam Raimi's Doc Ock. So
don't
going full
multiverse. Don't tell me that. That's awesome. Oh man. Alfred Molina is just the shit, right? He just kicks ass in everything he touches.
I love that dude since Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like, he is just one of my favorites.
Yeah. Boogie Nights is, obviously, is my favorite. We've talked about that movie on this show and talked about how that's, to me, I think both of us chose that for the Deacons. It's just the coolest scene of the whole movie when he's just going wild and you got his buddy throwing firecrackers at the ground. Yeah. Hey, Molina's the man, a guy that kind of fits that, character actor. Like I'm just going to kind of do my job really well every time.
Oh yeah. Even in the worst movies, like, he shines.
Yes.
It's a weird shout out, but one of my, the roles I'll always remember him in is the Pink Panther 2.
Okay.
Steve Martin. And it's only because of one line that had me laughing, like, to this day. It's when they're walking into the latest crime scene. He's like a detective from London. And a reporter asks him a question and he goes, no comment. And the reporter asks him another question and he goes, if I made a comment after I said no comment, I'd look like a complete ass, wouldn't I? And then just walks inside. Thank you for shining a light in this shitty movie.
Yeah, that sounds like him. Yeah. Beautiful.
And then Ray. Fantastic movie. Fun watch, hard watch at times, but fantastic. And I get why that won sound mixing.
Yeah, this is a film that I would love to do on this show. We could kind of base it around Jamie Foxx's performance, the best actor win. And I really, really liked this movie, but it is one that I'll admit that I don't have a strong opinion on, similar to kind of like Hotel Rwanda. Just haven't seen it in a long time. I remember liking it a lot though.
Yeah, I've only seen Ray one time, but I do remember thinking, like, this is fantastic. And
yeah.
Jamie Foxx deserved that win.
Yes, I remember being blown away, but I just can't remember exactly the, kind of the nuts and bolts of the film.
Yeah, fair enough. That, prime for a revisit.
Yeah, exactly.
So as far as sound mixing win, I think I'd give it to Spider-Man 2.
Oh, hell yeah. 100%. I think Spider-Man 2 would be a film that you can see, as you already mentioned, being the first win for Marvel. You could see it as being, just kind of uber important, those first two, kind of making them accessible and cool. And a huge part of that is that they actually took care of them. They're actually well-crafted films.
Yeah.
And so, I like that shout. Best sound mixing going to Spider-Man 2 would be cool.
Yeah, the thwips, Doc Ock's arms, the train sequence. Yeah. There's some really cool noises in that film. And
Oh yeah, all kinds of jazz.
The other film, the other award that The Incredibles was nominated for but did not win was Best Original Screenplay.
Oof.
So cool. Always cool to see an animated film land one of these nominations.
Yeah. Toy Story did it. What else? What else is there?
Shrek did it.
Yeah.
I think Inside Out. I think
definitely Inside Out. Yeah.
Toy Story 3. Did that get
Toy Story 3? Maybe Up. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think Ratatouille might have gotten a nomination.
That's definitely possible.
Yeah. And then I think Beauty and the Beast might have gotten it adapted. I don't remember.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we have The Aviator by John Logan, Hotel Rwanda by Terry George and Keir Pearson, The Incredibles by Brad Bird, Vera Drake by Mike Lee, and the winner, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind by Charlie Kaufman, Michelle Gondry, and Pierre Bismuth. I've only seen The Aviator and The Incredibles.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I haven't seen Vera Drake. Mike Lee's come up, a few times. We talked about Happy Go Lucky on the In Bruges episode, and Topsy Turvy came up last week when we were talking about 1999. Hotel Rwanda is, like I said, kind of like in the same category as Ray. I just haven't seen it in a while, but I remember liking it a lot. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Oh, man. This one I have seen quite a few times, and I don't quite know how I feel about it. I was kind of in love with it when I first saw it, kind of latched onto it, and then I don't know, just kind of fell back a little bit. And last time I revisited it, maybe 2-3 years ago, it fell flat for me in a lot of areas. I want to like it. It's a movie that I want to like, totally understand. But I don't know about this one. Honestly, I think The Incredibles should win here out of the ones I've seen, not including Vera Drake. I think it's, and that's of these movies. I'm not talking about all 2004. I'm sure there's other stuff we could find.
Yeah.
But this is this film of this bunch is saying so much inside of a children's superhero movie.
Yeah.
And it kind of demands that respect, and not just the nomination, but I think maybe it should have won.
I agree. My biggest issue, like Eternal Sunshine is a film that so many people have told me to check out. So many people have said, like, why haven't you seen that yet? And to me, it's just, I don't like Charlie Kaufman. Every film I've seen of his, apart from being John Malkovich, I have been supremely disappointed by. So I'm hesitant to go back, but I love Jim Carrey, and it is a film that's kind of, crucial to the 2000s. So I will have to watch that at some point, either by force or by circumstance. And then Hotel Rwanda, I haven't gotten around to it, and Vera Drake the same. But yeah, The Incredibles is an incredibly strong screenplay, and it totally could have taken this. Yeah,
I think Kaufman. I know St. Ghost, New York is not your jam.
That, and I'm thinking of Ending Things. I did not enjoy that either.
I do think Adaptation you would like. I think you'll enjoy that one. That came up when we were talking about Chris Cooper last week.
Yes, it did. I know. Nick Cage brings a flavor to every film he's ever done that just makes me smile. So I'm sure he'll help me out with that one.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe that'll change things. Yeah.
Fantastic. That takes us to the wins. Let's talk sound editing. Only 3 up, which is odd. The Polar Express, Spider-Man 2, and the winner, The Incredibles. I can never really differentiate between sound mixing and sound editing, which I guess is good that they've finally merged them together, although I would have changed the name of the award. But
I'll read. The Academy Award for Best Sound Editing was an Academy Award granted yearly to a film exhibiting the finest or most aesthetic sound design or sound editing. Best Sound Mixing. The Academy Award for Best Sound is an Academy Award that recognizes the finest or most euphonic sound mixing. Yeah, I don't really see much of a difference here. Sound mixing, recording, sound design, and sound editing.
Literally, both of those descriptions say the Academy Award for Best Sound Editing, it goes to the best in sound editing. That doesn't help at all.
Yeah, I feel like you have to read a whole lot to even understand why there's two categories here.
Well, you know what? The Incredibles deserves it.
Yeah. Of these three, sure, man. I think, yeah. Well, Spider-Man 2 has definitely has something to say here, but cool to see Polar Express again.
Yeah, it got a few nominations and like was shut out of the next category for reasons I will not understand.
Oh God, I love it.
Let's go there. Best animated film.
Oh man.
Shark Tale, Shrek 2, and The Incredibles. Let's dig into these.
Boy, yeah, when we did Shrek, that episode, we went through all of the winners because Shrek was the very first winner of this particular category, the best animated feature film. So it's only been around for 20 years, and most of the winners are strong movies. You know, there's some that are better than others, but rarely do you see a movie as shitty as Shark Tale even make the cut.
36% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I firmly agree with that. A film that features a nondescript shark mafia, weirdly blackfish, and Martin Scorsese trying to do hip handshakes. This is ridiculous. A terrible movie. DreamWorks should be ashamed of this film. I can't believe this is the same studio that gave us Shrek.
Yeah, no, it's bad. It's not good, and it looks so terrible.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know, and yeah, I the letterboxd reviews of Shark Tale will have you laughing for hours. This movie is aged very poorly with kind of everyone. You know, I don't really know anybody who's like, fuck yeah, Shark Tale is great. I can't wait to gather around and watch Shark Tale.
That would be a red flag for me, meeting somebody who's like that gung-ho about Shark Tale. I'd be like, I'm worried about this guy.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, I think DreamWorks, it's one of their worst efforts.
Yeah,
I haven't seen all of them, but it's one of the worst I've seen.
It's horrendous, and clearly it was made, to cash in on Pixar's Finding Nemo, which was a huge success and a great movie. So DreamWorks is like, well, got to do a fish movie, and that's what they came up with.
Yeah.
My God.
Well, yeah,
then,
yeah.
On the other,
Nemo is called Shark Bait, Shark Tale.
Oh yeah.
All this bullshit. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. There's no lesson in Shark Tale beyond just don't lie to your friends. Which, yeah, it's terrible. But on the other side of that, we got Shrek 2, which I think is really good and holds up.
Yeah, I definitely. Most of the Shrek work, Puss in Boots even, most of it's pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoy. I think 3 and 4 have their issues, but I think it's only because 1 and 2 are so good.
Yeah, exactly. They set the bar so high on the first one, and then 2 definitely had something to say.
I mean, Shrek 2 is essentially Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Yeah,
yeah. And it's cool to see John Cleese and Julie Andrews as a king and queen, kind of unsure of their daughter's choices in husband. And I like the whole fairy godmother being a villain thing. I like Jennifer Saunders did a great job playing kind of a sassy, mean fairy godmother. And it's just, yeah, it's a cute movie. It's a cool idea. It builds on Shrek. It doesn't just copy Shrek. Like, it's a good sequel.
Yeah, that's the main thing, is that there's a clear change of pace and change of scenery that allows it to kind of live on its own, and it introduces new characters that are valuable, right?
Yeah.
That are, like you said, I mean, Julie Andrews, so cool. you have people that are worthwhile, and you're not adding just nonsense, which so many sequels do, right?
Especially sequels to kids movies. Like, they rarely there's no care like this taken into those usually.
Correct. Yeah, I think one of the huge reasons, like all the Toy Stories just like mean so much is that they just sprinkle in something. And like you get something like Lotso in the third one. That's just like, oh shit, good. That's a good villain. They kind of come out of nowhere. That ability, just kind of raises it to the next level. And so Shrek, it's just so hard to believe that it comes from the same thing as Shark Tale. It comes from the same company. Very hard to believe.
It really is. But yeah, clearly this was, if The Incredibles was going to win anything, it was going to be animated film. There was no contest there. But the Polar Express deserves Shark Tale's spot.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sure there's probably a Studio Ghibli movie that got shut out. I'm sure because they have movies out the wazoo.
Well, that year it was Howl's Moving Castle, but that had been nominated, I think, the prior year or the year after.
Yeah, because they're all they're all kind of wonky. They come out, they don't compete till a year later or whatever. Yeah, I know what you mean. That is right though. Howl's Moving Castle is 2004, and that's definitely better than Shark Tale. Holy shit! Good lord.
Yeah, true. I have seen Howl's Moving Castle, and it's quite a spectacle.
Yeah, that's a solid movie. That's one that could hang with The Incredibles, I think, for sure. But again, I stand firmly in that The Incredibles definitely should win this, and then probably should have taken the original screenplay.
Yep, it's a solid film. It's definitely the one that has held up the best of that group, at least the animated films. And yeah, it's a solid rewatch and a fun movie to show people who haven't seen it. Like if you can find that group, it's really cool.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, awesome movie. I mean, just of course, like they all do, made over $600 million at the box office in 2004. Cool to see this shit in the 50s, right? And Pixar will do that. They'll kind of attack certain eras and certain, sometimes completely different, eras that we're not, that like Good Dinosaur, completely different prehistoric, type stuff. And then they'll go inside someone's head, then they'll deal with, the afterlife a little bit. It's just really cool. And honing in on the 50s with this superhero family. Yeah. Just really awesome. Yeah. And I'm glad it kind of has the legacy it does.
Well, the reason it's in like the 50s, 60s is because that was the kind of the golden age of superheroes, and it builds on that kind of like the Batman 1966 era of superheroes. And
so cool.
That's really cool. It really does pay homage to the classics. And you could tell the guys who were involved in this were superhero buffs who wanted to make their own thing. And I can't believe this is prime franchise material. And I can't believe it took 14 years to get a sequel that was really only subpar.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, my daughter Willow, who's 2, would disagree with you. She watches The Incredibles 2 all the time. It's probably in the top 3 movies she watches the most. The Incredibles 2. I don't know what it is. And what that has that I really like, I'm definitely on your side. I mean, The Incredibles is definitely better. But that movie has a really, really cool Catherine Keener vocal performance and a really cool Bob Odenkirk performance.
I don't know. I thought both characters were kind of cardboard cutouts compared to the people in the first movie. I thought it was kind of lazy. Just out of curiosity, has Willow seen the first one?
Yeah. Well, she's 2. I was kidding about her. It is one of the movies she watches the most. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think the first one's better, but
I remember
Catherine Keener, she's money.
I went to see the second one with my cousin Miles, he was about 14, 15 at the time. And I remember that we had the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom specials menu. So he got the Triceratops. They were gross, and he was like disappointed in that, and then he's disappointed in the movie, and then like we had talkers behind us, and we were all just like, this was a shitty night. I remember thinking like, this is it, like 14 years, and this is the best they could do. Like
I don't know. I do like it. I mean, I think it's cool that the first one, a lot of the plot is centered around Mr. Incredible leaving. and going and doing his own thing for a lot of the movie. And then the second one is it's based around Elastigirl going on kind of her own mission. And I like that. I like that it's kind of gives her her due because she's a really cool character and Holly Hunter fucking crushes it. So I like the second one. The Incredibles I give an 8, but it's really close to a 9. And The Incredibles 2 I give a 7. You know, it's not far off.
It's not bad. I think that after 14 years of buildup, I was expecting something way better.
That's fair.
And that's
you
really
know,
kind of my problem. So
yeah, that's fair, especially when The Incredibles is one of your very favorites. You know, imagine if Toy Story 2 didn't come out until 2008 and it kind of sucked. Yeah, that would be really frustrating. I understand where you're coming from. I mean, Incredibles 3 could happen one day.
Yeah, when we're in our 50s.
Yeah, exactly. We're in our 50s and they're still in the 50s in the movies. Oh man, I love it. Well, we got some awards for this awesome Pixar movie. We have the Tarantino for best line or quote. We have the Ennio Morricone for best music moment. We have the Philip Seymour Hoffman for best performance, so that'll be the best vocal performance in our eyes. And we have the Roger Deakins Award for best scene or best moment of the movie. So I'll let you take it away with this beautiful screenplay that has so many just little diamonds.
Sure. I've got 2. My first one's very quick, and it's a line that I've always thought was really funny. It's at the beginning of the film when Mr. Incredible has Buddy arrested, and Buddy continues to call himself Incrediboy, and Mr. Incredible just loudly and angrily yells, "You're not affiliated with me." Like that.
You're not affiliated with me. That's good. I love that.
And then the other one has been one of my favorite lines ever. And it's when the newsreel after Incredible was sued by the suicide jumper. And he yells at the guy, "I saved your life." And the guy yells back, "You didn't save my life. You ruined my death." That's the darkest shit. Like, this is the only like kids movie I've ever seen that features like an attempted suicide, and the way they handle it is crazy.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, that's for sure.
I don't count like sacrifice. I count like I want to die and I'm going to do it, because that's what he jumped off a building.
Oh man, so good. So many little moments. Yeah. Where you're going to kind of find something new every time, right? That's just one of the best things about a screenplay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, beautiful. I have a pretty on the nose one for my Tarantino. And it's at one point, Mr. Incredible is talking to the little boy on the tricycle.
Yeah.
And the little boy says, "I don't know, something amazing, I guess."
What are you waiting for? That's a great line.
Yeah, it just has always stuck with me. It's a popular one that I just like. I said when I was in school, when I was in elementary school, and still stay today. You know, I don't know. You know, you can go as high as you want, high pitched. This little kid, the bubble gum and everything. Yeah, I love that line.
I love that this kid spends the rest of the movie just sitting outside their house waiting for something awesome to happen.
Something amazing, I guess. Yeah.
And then beautiful. At the end, he's like, "That was totally wicked."
Yeah. You get the payoff. Yeah. And it's kind of like he's you know, that's the audience, right? Is the kid on the tricycle. Beautiful. Ennio Morricone, what do you got for music?
So Michael Giacchino's score is fucking awesome. It's so like just it's a fucking rocket ship. It's great.
Yeah,
and it was really hard to find a specific moment from that score, but there was a bit that gave me goosebumps. It was when the family is assembled towards the end. They're about to fight the Omnidroid, and the theme just kicks in ever so slightly, and you're like, "Oh shit, it's time!" Like they're gonna fight together. They're gonna take this thing down as a family, and it made me very excited. So it's just like a little bit of the opening theme popping in towards the end, right before the big fight. That was
yes. Yeah, beautiful stuff. There's There's some moments with the family where the camera just kind of pans out, right? And it's just beautiful. Superhero shit to the core. It's awesome. Yeah, this score is brilliant. Few tracks that I really like. Adventure Calling is awesome. Lava in the Afternoon is kind of like a slower jam. That's awesome. Life's Incredible again. It's like you're listening to Frank Sinatra. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
that one's really cool. 100 Mile Dash is really cool. One of the moments when Dash is kind of in action. Road Trip is one of a really cool track. This really everything is good. Every piece of the score is good, and a lot of them are like a minute and a half long and just kind of pop. But I don't typically do this, but I have to give the Ennio award to the end credits, which is the name of it. You know, the end credits instead of Incredibles, and quite clever. It's this huge like fucking big band. You know, this awesome 7-minute kind of epic piece. And I was just kind of like, whoa, holy shit. I just kind of sat there, you know, for 5, 6, 7 minutes longer, you know,
Yeah.
after I've already seen the movie, you know, I'm just kind of like, this is crazy, you know, and I had in mind all these different things that I was going to choose from. And then that happened. And I was like, oh man, like I wanted to go out on the town. It got in my fucking blood. It's cool. And I love when animated movies do that. They remind you of how powerful they are.
Animated movies, I don't know why this tends to happen, but animated movies have some of the most baller scores in film history. Like they just go for it. It's fucking beautiful. Yeah, Incredibles is like the end credits. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've sat through those credits myself, and they are just that is a beautiful bit of orchestral show off.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. Could really choose anything off of this score. It's 19 songs and about an hour long. It's just beautiful. Here we are. This is the one I've been kind of like thinking about all day. You know, it's the Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's always fun when you get something that's a little bit different, right? And of course, when you're doing an animated movie, you're not looking so much at you're not looking at a physical performance. You're hearing the voice out. How do they fit this character? And for that, we both have one person, and I'm super curious to hear yours.
I am curious to hear yours as well. For me, I mean, I think this is a very off the wall voice cast. They all like, I never would have thought Craig T. Nelson is a superhero, but here we are. And they all do such a great job. The kids, like everyone's great. But for me, the standout is Jason Lee as Syndrome.
Same. Yeah. Oh, hands down. Unbelievable stuff from Jason Lee. This guy who's in like, you know, fucking Stealing Harvard like a year later. What the hell is this? This is a brilliant character. And he just gives it just oozes with life. This vocal performance.
Syndrome is scary. Like his motivations are so twisted. Like this guy is so sadistic. He's killed so many people, and all because Mr. Incredible told him to fuck off. Like that's where all this comes from. This like 20 years of building an empire built on destroying one man. It's wild, and he kills like so many superheroes that it's insane when you realize like the depth of his madness, just how many people he's murdered to get this thing primed. It's crazy. Kidnapping the baby, like deliberately like trying to kill his family, knowing they're on that jet. Like it's just he's so evil. Like by kids' movie standards, this guy's the devil. Like he's grown up movie evil. And Jason Lee just plays him with this arrogance and smarm that just works for a comic book villain. It's perfect.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Yeah. There's a small part of me that thought he might choose Jason Lee. This guy, I mentioned Stealing Harvard, that actually came out 2 years before The Incredibles. Almost Famous and Dogma and Chasing Amy, all that stuff. Of course, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and of course, My Name is Earl. But I'm not kidding when I say that this is like one of his very best things he's ever done. Is this exact character syndrome, Buddy Pine, is just is so perfect.
It is so like I said, the whole cast is off the wall. I never would have pictured Jason Lee as a comic book villain, but I don't see anybody else working with, Syndrome. He looks like a fucking troll doll, and he's just pure sadism, pure anger, just 15 years of seething leading into this genius mind who uses these brilliant inventions to destroy one family. Like, it works. I love it. Jason Lee's, there's some moments where he's just like, you married Elastigirl and got busy, like things like that. Like,
yeah.
It's just so weird.
Yeah, crazy. And Jason Lee, of all people, so cool. There's this ballsy casting and how it just paid off so well. I love it. The Deakins, the Roger Deakins. Boy, this is tough. This is a near 2-hour movie, and it's got a lot of kind of firecracker type moments. But what do you find to be the best moment, the one that's lasted the longest for you?
For me, it's the film's darkest moment, and I didn't really understand the gravity of this scene when I was a kid. But the older I get chills watching this part, just because I realize what it means. And it's when Bob infiltrates Syndrome's hideout after Syndrome thinks he's killed him, gets into the computer room, types in the password, and finds out the true depth of Syndrome's plan and everything. All of the friends that he's killed, all of the heroes Mr. Incredible has known throughout the years that Syndrome has murdered with this robot. Just seeing their, eliminated, like flashing on the screen, him typing in his wife to make sure he doesn't know where she is. Like, it's so dark and it's so brilliant. The music swells. They find out he's in there and they like trap him in that goo. It's you just suddenly you feel like the stakes have increased dramatically and shit's about to get insane. And it's perfect. It's a perfect scene.
I wrote down Mr. Incredible finds out what's going on and then gets shot by black blobs.
Oh, we are in rare form tonight.
Yeah. Oof. One of the finer moments in Pixar history. I can't tell you at any point, other than like Infinity War and Endgame, where you feel, like you're gonna cry in a superhero movie, right? And that's this moment. I just never really read it the way I did when I watched it this time, and it was like, oh shit, fuck, And then thinking about Syndrome and thinking about just the demons, the demons this guy has now, and it's a brutal scene that a kid can watch and doesn't have to totally understand, but they know the tone is like, whoa. And then when those blobs come at him, it is fucking scary, And then there's that brilliant closing shot of the blobs closing in, and all you can see is what's her name? Elizabeth Pena. Who does she play? What's that girl's name?
Mirage.
Yeah, Mirage. When he sees her, it's just like brilliant. It's shit that you'd see like in Indiana Jones. It's just really fucking cool. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, it gives me a pure 60s James Bond vibe.
It's
great. And especially like it also makes it so satisfying later on when Syndrome gets sucked into the jet turbine, which is super dark again for Disney to do death like that. Holy shit. Oh man, I love how ballsy they were with this film.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then we haven't even really brought up one of the very best characters of the whole thing, Frozone. Yeah. Ice of you to visit us. Yeah. Frozone, this movie probably doesn't have the legacy it does without him, right? With like, where's my super suit, all that stuff. It's just stuff that is iconic in pop culture. Rightly so.
Yeah, it was, I have a quote of the day movie calendar. And literally this past week, a quote from The Incredibles was one of the pages. And it was when Frozone's looking for his super suit and he yells, we're talking about the greater good. And the quote was, greater good, I am your wife. I am the greatest good you're ever going to get.
So good. So good. Yeah, that I mean, from that moment when he's getting involved to, this kind of final fight scene, all of that shit is just breathtaking. It's incredible movie making. And the attention to detail again on the animation is what sets it apart. It's what sets a lot of the Pixar movies apart from their their competition. They still just look really cool and really interesting. And like in The Incredibles, the kind of the production design within, is just really fucking cool, really neat.
It's crazy. Yeah, from Toy Story to Soul, Pixar has always been at the very top of the animation game. I mean, they have been experimenting with all sorts of new technology since the beginning. They go out of their way to make, shadows and just like glare realistic. They do camera tricks that like only see in live action movies. It's really wild how far they go to make this in every movie an experience. And I will, applaud them for that forever.
Yeah, definitely have to give them props, man. They're super important to who we are and what we are as movie fans. That's really special. Great movie. Where do you have it? What do you have it rated? Is it a 9 for you?
It's a 9. The Incredibles is a 9 for
okay. So before we talk about what we're doing next week, what of the Pixar films, what's a 10?
Toy Story.
That's it?
Yeah. I've given a lot of 9s, but I think Toy Story is the only 10 I've given from Pixar.
Same. Then I have a lot of 9s as well. Not a lot, but mostly 8s. A lot of just solid 8s.
Yeah.
And there's some 9s. But yeah, my 10 would be Toy Story as well. Inside Out would be a 9. Monsters Inc. would be a 9. A Bug's Life would be a 9. Incredibles is on its way. I don't know. It's probably there. Honestly, it's in my mind. I feel like I have to differentiate. How much I like each one of these. And at the end of the day, they just make a lot of awesome movies.
I gave Toy Story 2, 3, 4 all have 9s.
Okay.
The Incredibles, obviously. Up would be a 9. Onward is a 9. Inside Out's a 9. I think that's all. Bug's Life's an 8 for me.
Finding Nemo.
I haven't watched Nemo in a long time. I want to give it another shot. I gave Finding Dory a 9 when it came out.
Wow.
But again, another film I'd like to revisit to see if that really holds up.
Yeah. I think Finding Nemo has just kind of blown me away the past couple times I've seen that. Willow likes that one as well.
Well, you're a dad now. Of course, that one's going to resonate with you a little bit more now.
Yeah, I mean, all of these do. If I'm, gonna be honest, right? Of course, I saw a lot of these movies in theaters with one of my parents or both my parents, and that shit just matters, whenever those little things matter. As you get older, it's stuff that you remember.
Yeah, I mean, this will not be the last time Pixar comes up on this show. I mean,
oh no,
opening the floodgates.
Yeah, no, we've done Beauty and the Beast straight through and through Disney. We've done Shrek, DreamWorks. We've done Incredibles, Pixar. I really want to do Spirited Away next when we tackle animated next.
Cool.
And then it's really, I have no problem doing an animated movie that didn't win. Like one of Wes Anderson's films. I think it'd be fun to do Isle of Dogs. Yeah, anything really.
Yeah, I love the variety we get to pick from on this show.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, next week, it is the Oscars, but we want to put an episode out. We want to do something. I felt like we we shouldn't do a typical episode like this. We should do something that's kind of like in ceremony spirit, right? And you and I kind of came up with the idea of a best picture swap. And we chose 2010 to 2019 because that's where we've seen the most movies, and we've both now almost seen all of them. That's a bunch of movies from 10 years that were all nominated for best picture. And what you and I want to do next week is pick a movie that we feel like probably should be in that group and take one out.
Yes.
So you're kind of pinpointing what you think is the least solid film out of the best picture group each year, and you're putting one in. And we feel like that'll be a fun way to, instead of just saying these are all snubs or whatever, we'll properly take one out because we've seen them all. Take one out and put one in. We feel like that's the best way to do it. It's the most fair way to do it. And we're going to just tackle the 2010s and have a lot of fun with it next week. I'm hoping we have 20 movies joining, but we might overlap on a couple. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be some real experimentation. See what kind of stuff Oscar related, shenanigans we can get up to on this show.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it'll come out. The episode will release during the day, and the Oscars are of course at 7 p.m. Central Time that night. So super excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're trying to do something just kind of fun and random as hell for the day of the Oscars. We'll do that every year. We'll try to plan something kind of different. And, in sneak preview, we're going to be tomorrow. We're going to be doing a little actor thing. So we're just kind of doing all kinds of ideas. It's so much fun. Yeah.
Tomorrow's sneak preview is going to involve us kind of shining a spotlight on some honorable mentions for best actor and best actress from 2000 to 2009. Not taking anyone out, just putting one in.
Yeah, we're not really going over all of the nominated actors. We're more just shouting out what we think, hey, this was cool.
Yeah, and if you want your movie fix, on Wednesday on Filmgazm, Josh and I are doing James Gunn's creature feature, Slither. So
beautiful.
Tune in for that one. That'll be a blast. And then the Giggle guys will do their thing on Friday. It's going to be a good week.
Hell yeah, man. Super exciting stuff. And then, Oscars are, again, said it a million times, but they're just a week away. And hope people are trying to watch those movies and get excited for the show because the ratings have been so bad for all the other award shows. Maybe the Oscars will be a little bit better.
Well, Soderbergh's behind it, and he keeps saying that he wants to do it as like a movie. So I think it's going to be a very weird, memorable Oscars.
Hell yeah. Buckle up.
Oh, hell yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Keep watching movies.